welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Money Championship Sunday edition on Pub Sports Radio. And of course, this show is sponsored by Prize Picks. So go to the App Store, search Prize Picks, and use promo code Pub Sports on your first deposit, and they will match it up to $100, minimum of $25 with a one-time rollover. That's it. Simple, guys, right? Just win, and it's yours. As you know, we've been attacking each game with the best panel in the history of NFL props. So let's say hello before we get to the money. Billy Briz, good looking on the Garland points and assists last night. Love me some easy money. You ready for this weekend or what?
Yeah, ready for this weekend. If you haven't already, make sure you join over there at Prize Picks using the promo code Pub Sports, and you'll receive a nice little 100% instant match. Damn, why'd you change it in the middle of the thing? I was reading it off the bottom of the screen. I was going to say Joe Burrow over a half a yard.
I changed the color, Billy, not the text.
No, restarted it. Joe Burrow over a half a yard. That's what we're getting to. It's the Prize Picks parlay piece for the weekend.
I already burnt it on a basketball player that didn't cash, so they go suck their freaking wankers with that $25.
You ain't got your kid? You don't have your kid as a little account profile?
Big Show, what's good? Last weekend of football, no UFC, and you're getting married soon. Well, I know you ain't getting Saturday to yourself, so you ready for some Sunday?
Yeah, I'm ready for Sunday, man. It's a big weekend. A lot of futures for these quarterbacks and these big name wide receivers are going to come true this weekend.
It's going to be a good day, and that maybe not for the books though. So we have two games, and both will be on Pub Sports Radio this Sunday for the live bet stream. So make sure you tune into that. But let's get to the first game on the board, and it's the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles are a 3-point favorite and the total set at 46.5. Before we get into props, let's talk about how we see this game going. Billy, this is your team being the Eagles. So let's start with you on this team. What's your lean sides and totals on this one before we get into props?
I like the birds in this one, man. It seems like a square pick, but I think the square picks are going to hit this weekend, man. I like the birds in the first game.
Total-wise?
Total-wise, lean towards the under 46.5. I think it's going to be a rough day for Brock Purdy.
All right. Big Show, same question. How do you see this game going?
Sharpie, same answer. Birds and under.
Ooh. Well, me personally, I think it's a first half over, second half under, but I have no bet in as of now. I really think I'm going to get a better number on this second half once this first game goes, so I'm going to wait for it to go live. But the 49ers and Eagles are the top two teams in the league that ask the least from the quarterback position, meaning these coaches' script plays better than any other coach, and that's why I do see points in the first half. Also, I've been cashing on this Eagles first half team total all year. So the 49ers are the best defense all year, and that just does nothing compared to what they've done in the second half of games. So I'm definitely looking for a second half under, but like I said, no bet. And I actually, I'm leaning 49ers. I'm not sold on Hurts. I think it's first person who gets a 2-score lead. I'm live betting them minus the points. I think they're fucked. Whoever gets down 2 scores, I don't trust either one of these quarterbacks versus these defenses. So, yeah.
Anybody got any word on McCaffrey? Because that's what's stopping me from going on the 49ers. McCaffrey.
We're not even out. McCaffrey's playing. He said he's 100%. He said he's going.
He was 100%. Well, what did he do last game?
We might lean towards the under on his rushing receiving prop, but
I think it's under on the carry. I think it's under on the carries. They got it at 13.5 right now.
We'll get the props when we get the props, but let me get through the numbers so then we can get the props. All right, so let's get into the 49ers defensive yearly numbers. Second versus the rush, allowing 77 yards a game. 20th versus the pass, allowing 223 yards a game. And first in points allowed, only allowing 16.3 points a game. Over the last 3 weeks, 80.3 rush yards a game, still allowing 223 yards a game and still allowing 16 points a game while averaging 2.3 sacks and 2.66 takeaways a game. While the Eagles' yearly numbers 16th versus the rush, allowing 121.5 yards a game, first versus the pass, allowing only 180 yards a game, while being 7th in points allowed at 20.2 points per game. I'm not going to get into the Eagles' last two games because they both were versus the Giants' sorry-ass defense, and one of those were versus their sorry-ass backups. Billy Briz, what's popping out at you props-wise in this NFC Championship game?
Well, we'll start off with the three most bet on props for this game. The most three bet on player props, or AKA the most popular props in this game, is Christian McCaffrey to score an anytime touchdown, AJ Brown to score an anytime touchdown, and Jalen Hurts to score an anytime touchdown. And those sound like music to my ears because I'm fading all three of those motherfuckers this weekend. This is going to be a big Devontae Smith game. Love this spot here for Devontae Smith. He's my favorite Eagle to score, too. He has 8+ targets in 10 straight games, 6 touchdowns in that stretch. Niners give up 16 touchdowns to wide receiver position this season and bottom 5 in passing yards to the position. So I think this is a Devonta Smith game here. His anytime touchdown props plus 190. Also like his 65.5 receiving yards. This is more of a narrative theory, but a lot of Dak misfires last week, dude. He had big plays that he could have made down the field, and I don't think the Eagles are going to let that one up. Talking about big plays down the field, it won't be any for my guy, Quez Watkins, taking the under 19.5 on Quez Watkins. His season low is just been happening these last couple of weeks since Goddard's been back in the lineup. He ran his least amount of routes last week. So I like the under on Quez Watkins. That's probably one that you're going to have to shop for. And on the San Francisco 49ers side, Juwan Jennings under 14.5, longest reception. He's been catching some long balls for the 49ers this week, and the books have him kind of, I think, projected a little bit too high. I don't think he catches that deep ball this week. And I also I don't really want to play any 49ers props, to be honest with you. I think Brock Purdy's going to have a rough game, man. I don't like the spot here for Brock Purdy. Bad spot for him.
Oh, he say bad spot. Me no likey. Big Show picks. Hopefully Billy left some meat on the bones for you. What are you looking at prop wise in this game?
Yeah, I'm right with him on the fade in the San Francisco side of the props. For one, they're a little too expensive if you ask me. The one that I do got a little bit of interest in is Kittle, 5 receptions for plus 143. And I think I might be taking the under on 13.5 carries for McCaffrey. We are all saying it on the stream too. Like, where the fuck was McCaffrey in that game? And it finds out that he ends up fucking up his right calf. Whether he is injured, whether he isn't, still not a very good spot in a cold spot like Philadelphia, which have a fucked up calf.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get on any. Actually, the only Niner props I have is I'm looking at the sacks. Like at the end of the day, Brock Purdy they have his pass yards at 215, and he's only 1-3 to the over in this spot, and I can't look this way today. And what I mean in this spot is Purdy's played 8 games this year. 4 of those games have came versus top 10 defenses, and those were his 4 worst games. Eagles are the number 1 pass defense in all of football, and he's averaging 209 yards Purdy is, while being sacked 13 times in this spot. That's 3.25 sacks a game. The Eagles have had 5 or more sacks in 6 straight games themselves. And the sack prop, as the last I looked, was at 5.5 at plus money. I will be on that. And on Prize Picks, they have each team at 2.5. The Eagles sacks over 2.5 is a must fucking bet this week. That's my favorite play of the week, actually. And you said touchdowns, Billy, and you didn't say my guy. And I'm like, yes, Dallas fucking Goddard cashed last week's first touchdown for me.
That was a system spot play. We've been fading the Giants.
Okay, that's fine.
Giants
okay,
can't
this ain't the. Hey, let me finish there. He cashed for plus 1,100. Okay, Dalton Schultz then scored the first touchdown for the Cowboys versus the 49ers, okay? I'm not worried about this. Is the playoffs, and we've been preaching to play the tight ends
There'll
touchdowns
be a tight
at
end
will.
tail later on the
At
show.
will. So I will be on his anytime touchdown score, and they had that at plus 190. And I also want first Eagles touchdown at plus 600. I'm not going to go first touchdown scorer again. Even though I think he can, I like I said, I really think there's going to be points in the first half. So I'm going to take advantage of Dallas Goedert, where in 3 of the last 4 games with Hurts, he scored a touchdown in those games. And like I said last week on the show, give me the targets versus the San Francisco team, and I will play the tight end. So his fantasy score over 11 is the spot. He is 3-4 to the over in his last 4 games with Hurts, missing the one game he didn't score a touchdown by 0.2 points. So he's legitimately got a shot to hit this over without the touchdown. When he does score the touchdown, it's an easy fantasy score over. I love how a lot of you guys.
I wish you the best of luck, Sharpie, but I would not do it this weekend. There's no way AJ Brown gets 3 catches for 22 yards ever again in the Eagle system, and I just don't see it. So if AJ Brown has a good game, Devonta Smith have a good game, that doesn't really leave a lot of meat on the bone. And then my next question is, I agree with you on the Eagles getting to the quarterback. Does that intrigue you potentially with a Brock Purdy over 8.5 rushing yard prop? Because I mean, the motherfucker's got to run, right?
I see that to me is there's not enough out there for me to tell me that he runs in these spots or what is he going
I'll
to do.
give you some statistical data. His last game against Dallas, 3 attempts for 8 yards. Versus Seattle, 4 attempts for 16 yards and a rushing touchdown, if you remember that read option that he got in the end zone. And Arizona, 4 rush attempts for 7 rushing yards. So we're going to get 3 to 4 rushing attempts. How those yards turn out off of those rushing attempts,
it's too much of a gamble for me right there, realistically. And what if they win the game and knee it out? What if? I know you don't see that happening. What if? I don't know, man. That's you are the man though at taking these unders. I'm not. If I was, I've been cashing on these unders.
Over. I like the over 8.5 rushing yards.
Okay, over. I don't know. I just
it's a low number, right?
I'm not a Brock Purdy guy though, bro. For his running, I haven't played it, never looked at it, so
negative yards only account.
I played that shit. I played that shit last week. It went from 2 to 7, back to 2, back to 7. It was fucked up, bro. Like I did not like it. And I had the ladder on it, the mini ladder. I had it up to 14.
I think there's going to be lots of room for Eagles people to eat because there's one thing you don't do versus the 49ers, and that's run the fucking football. So you're not going to run it. No one's been able to really run it but one team all year. So I don't expect the Eagles to just come out and fucking hand the ball off 40 times either. They have been vulnerable to the pass. And I think there is plenty of mouths to feed in the first half. It's just second half, bro. We've seen what the Eagles are second half, and that's because their scripted plays are gone. And I don't know. That's why I really want second half under in that. And I'm looking at Hurts under 44.5 rush yards. Like at the end of the day, the 49ers over the last few seasons have been really good versus mobile quarterbacks. They have 2 different linebackers to spy him in Greenlaw and in fucking just Fred Warner. So they've got the 2 guys that can stop that type of a quarterback. So I'm looking towards his under 44.5 as well in that game. You can't go wrong, though, either with either side's kicker over 1.5 field goals. I mean, if you really lean the Eagles, then it's the Eagles over 1.5. Take Sanders. If you like the 49ers in this spot, then you got to take the 49ers kicker. These are 2 legit defenses, and I expect some smash mouth football to be played, whether it's the first half or the second half. Anything else to add in before we get into the second game, fellas?
If you're picking a kicker, I'd probably lean towards the 49ers kicker. I think a lot of their drives would stall out. If you roll with the Eagles, we might go for it on 4th and 5.
The thing is, though, is if you see the game, like you said, they're going to blow them out pretty much, bro, then you're not kicking field goals if you're the 49ers.
I didn't say blow them out. It's a 2.5 line.
But you said you expect the under and the Eagles, that they're just gonna whoop them. Purdy's
No,
gonna meet Jesus
I
Christ.
17-10 is my final score projection.
Okay. I really wanted the under. I preached this under. Fuck, bro. Like at the end of the day, for 3 weeks, all I've said is I want Niners and Eagles to play each other, and I'm gonna put a large amount on the under. And as I
Now we're
watch
here.
ESPN, now I watch everything else, and all these fucking cups are on the under, bro. And that just makes me want to blow my head off.
The only thing
So
that makes me scared about betting Eagles, particularly Eagle game unders, is that we have the potential of putting up the over just off of our team total. Like, I've seen
they
that.
do too, though, bro. That's what's sickening about it too. The 49ers have that as well. So do me a favor, shout out to the chat, smash the damn like button if you haven't, and let's get to the damn money and talk about the second game of the day. It's the AFC Championship game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs are a 1-point favorite in the total, or now up to a 1.5-point favorite, and the total is set at a 47.5. Big show before we get into props. What way are you leaning, sides and total?
I don't really got a side in this game yet. I'm a Kansas City backer. I've been a fan of Kansas City since Priest Holmes. Like it's been my second team kind of since, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, so kind of allowed to have like a second team, and you always got to have an AFC team. But no side on it yet, but I think it goes over the 48.
Okay.
I think we get 28, 28, 24, 28, 21, something like that.
Okay, Billy, do you see a good game or a blowout? Which way you lean in sides and totals in this one?
I don't want to sound like the guy, but I'm going to sound like the guy. You are fucking stupid if you bet the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. How the fuck do you bet the Chiefs over the Bengals this weekend? Looking at the head-to-head matchups, now we got Burrows beat the Chiefs 3 different times in the regular season. Now we got Mahomes on 2 legs because he really has 3. And I just think that how do you not bet the Bengals here in this spot? If you want to tease the Bengals, that would probably be the safest way to do it. But man, it's just like the Bengals got to be the best bet of the weekend, man. We're getting plus monies on Burrow against Mahomes. I'm a Mahomes guy. I'm a Mahomes backer, but man, Bengals all day here, man. How many times are the Bengals going to be undervalued until people start catching on? I mean, last year, this year, regular season, like, damn, man, it's the playoffs of next year, man. Bengals all day. Don't you see the orange letter in here? This is a Bengals.
Oh man, I don't have a bet on the side yet, but I do lean the Bengals, and I'm actually going to bet the under in this one. I know the Bengals offensive line.
You're shot out.
Check this out. I'm ready for it, bro. Balls
You're
on
not
the table.
doing that.
Balls on the table, bro. I know the Bengals offensive line looked good last week, but that was versus a bunch of backups of the Bills defensive line. This Kansas City front four is a whole lot better. And if Mahomes can't be Mahomes, then I don't see them putting up a bunch of points. So I'm gonna be on the under. I expect
You been drinking that Kraken with Jimmy?
I could see 27-20, bro. Like, and that barely cashes the under. So I'll get on that teased under. Everybody and their mom's gonna want the over. Everybody and their mom's going to want the over, which is fine.
As they should.
Because the over's going to hit.
If Mahomes wasn't hurt, I'd say yes.
Mahomes wasn't hurt, this would be at 52.
Right. So, I mean, maybe I'll wait first quarter, watch fucking Burrow do what Burrow's been doing, and then get a better number. But I just don't think the Chiefs can keep up, bro, if Mahomes is really hurt. He'll be juiced up for a half. He'll look good for a quarter till he takes off and runs and gets hit. Then what, bro? We saw what he was. If he can't run to the line and then release the ball, he's not the same guy. Personally,
I don't know, man. Overs were hitting in the Ravens and Bengals game. I don't
That's a divisional game right there.
But still, bro, this is to be fading. I don't know. We'll get into the props.
We'll get into it. So let's talk some numbers before we get into some props. Bengals defense yearly numbers: 7th versus the rush, allowing 106.5 yards a game. 23rd versus the pass, allowing 229 yards a game, and 5th in points allowed at 21.7. 6.1 points per game. And over the last 3 games, they've been slightly worse, allowing 109 rush yards a game, 259 pass yards a game, while only allowing 14.3 points a game. But take in mind, 2 of those games were versus backup Ravens quarterbacks. The Chiefs defense yearly numbers 8th versus the rush, allowing 107 yards a game, 18th versus the pass, allowing 221 yards a game, while being 16th in points allowed at 21.7 points per game. Big Show, how are you looking to eat in this AFC Championship game?
Well, it's kind of contradicting to what I've said, but what have we been doing the past 7 weeks against Kansas City?
Gotta take
the
fucking the
number one wide receiver, Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. I like him to get over 100 yards, plus 116. And I kind of don't mind. And if you think the game's going to go over, I kind of don't mind Burrow over 300 plus 108 either.
Big Show, check the specials in Bovada before you bet the 100 at plus 116. I think I saw better pluses than what they're offering in the ladder format for Chase. There's a lot of good shit there in that specials on Chase this weekend. But
yeah, I can't bet Higgins. Higgins is dead to me. I can't bet him. Like every time I fucking bet him, like I think I actually cursed this dude. I think I cursed him. Like I can't bet him. That's half the reason I'm on Kansas City is because I don't know if Chase can get it done on himself, and I don't think Mixon's going to come out and do the same thing that helped Cincinnati win that game last week. I don't think it had anything to do with Burrow. I don't think it had much to do with the wide receivers. I think that was a Mixon, and Hunter Hurst helped out quite a bit too. He might not have.
Last time these Chiefs played, P. Ryan ran for 106 yards on 20 carries.
Yeah, we're gonna get there, damn it.
Hey, I was just letting them know if you don't think Mixon's gonna run on these guys, they might run on these guys.
It might be Mixon. I'm not putting money on P. Ryan this late into the year. Like,
Mixon played that game. That's why P. Ryan had 20 rushes.
All right, so yeah. Well, obviously the Chiefs in that game were trying to stop the number one wide receivers. You know, Cincinnati's got 2 of them. They got 2 of them. It's hard to stop them, but one's just dead to me. So that's like half the equation's out for me.
Okay. Anything on the Chiefs side?
You know, Travis Kelce. I don't want to take everybody's fucking anytime touchdown, but how do you not use Travis Kelce anytime touchdown if you're going to play him for one? If he scores early, get that button out and get ready to get him for the second one. Because if the Chiefs find out that's the way they can beat him, they're going to hammer it, I think, because it's so hard to trust any of these wide receivers on the Kansas City side. Is Hardman going to come in and be he's probably the second best wide receiver on the team, if you ask me, behind Juju. And you never know what they're going to – Hardman.
No, you threw me off. I was like, what?
Yeah, Hardman's been in and out of the lineup, getting fucking 4 catches to 7 catches to 0 catches. Like, it's hard to tell. You know, they got so many. They got 3 rookie wide receivers on that team too, and MVS. Like, it's too hard to like pin down wide receivers on the. You know, it's good for fantasy. It's good if you need a cheap fucking wide receiver in fantasy. You could throw Sky Moore in your shit. You can throw Watson in your shit. MVS is still cheap, but for props, that's not where I'm looking.
Yeah, I don't have really much to talk about when it comes to my turn from that side as well, but I got a little bit. Billy, what you looking at in this Bengals and Chiefs matchup at Burrowhead Stadium?
By far, let me say, between the 2 games, by far my favorite one this weekend, prop-wise, biggest bet this weekend is going to be Hayden Hurst over 3.5 receptions, minus 145, 4+ catches in 10 out of 15 games this season. He's had 3 targets on 6 routes before getting hurt versus KC. KC's allowing the 6th most adjusted targets per game to the tight end position. And we like hammering KC over the fucking middle. So we're rocking with Hayden Hurst, and then we're playing Joe Burrows over 1.5 passing touchdowns because my guy Tyler Boyd's about to get a touchdown too. KC's allowed the 2nd most touchdowns to the slot wide receiver. in the NFL this season. Boyd lines up exclusively in the slot, him and Hurst. And we told you to auto bet the shit last week with Christian Kirk. And Christian Kirk did what? Scored the first touchdown of the game. We just hammered the spots, and the spots are there this week. Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Tyler Boyd, anytime touchdown plus 300. Hayden Hurst, anytime touchdown plus 310. And Joe Burrow over 17.5 rushing yards. I think Burrow's going to run a little bit here. Now let's get to the unders here. Under on Joe Mixon, 3.5 receptions here. Bad spot here for Joe Mixon in the passing game. He does not really run the passing routes anymore. And talk about not running passing routes. Let's go over to the KC side. Isaiah Pacheco, under 1.5 receptions, minus 150. He's been under 4 of his last 5 and 7 out of his last 10 since becoming the starter. And this line should probably be closer to minus 200 because Pacheco doesn't really play into passing downs. That's usually McKinnon. Pacheco's really more of an early down snap guy. And we saw in the different game script last week against KC where they kind of got pressed to throw a little bit. Pacheco only played 35% of the total snaps last week. And we all expect the Bengals to be competitive in this one. So I don't really like Pacheco's passing reception prop this week. Kadarius Toney under 35.5 receptions. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Kadarius Toney. That's a break in my heart. But man, he's going under this week. And Jarek McKinnon, anytime touchdown plus 155. He didn't score last week, but he scored the 5 weeks before that. Why are we getting off the train now? And maybe a potential sprinkle. I got to do a little bit more research in this one, but a potential sprinkle in Samaje Perine, anytime touchdown plus 480.
Oh, shit. Old Perine's making a comeback, huh?
Yeah, man. This is the best game of the week, man. This is the most prop. This is the most the props that we can really identify.
Pacheco, I was doing the math in my head. So 7 out of 10, that's only 70%. Minus 200, 66% roughly. It should be like minus 240, bro. Like that's a fuck. I think I'm gonna look at that minus 150 under 1.5 catches. That just makes a lot of sense, especially with if the game does get to where it's Pacheco's out the game, like it's gonna be McKinnon all day receiving. But
shouts to Birdie, man. He says the Bengals are 23-2 ATS. Tells us that the market has them undervalued for 25 games. Why does it stop now? Bengals win this game. Exactly how I feel, Birdie.
Bengals win this game, and they win it 27-13. Under.
Yeah, but they haven't had. They've only had. I think it was only 3 games that they were projected over 5.5 points in the spread too. So it's not like they're going out here with like the KC spreads where they get 9.5s and 7.5s and 10.5s every week.
Well, we get back to Burrow this week. We're getting plus monies on the Bengals.
Plus money. Hey, on a 6-point teasers, 6.5, you're giving me over a 7 with Joe Nasty. I just came in my pants.
Yeah,
Burrow's is the teaser ticket for this weekend. You take. I think for betting purposes this weekend, you take the 2 dogs as in the teasers.
I might not even fuck with that to tease either side in that Niners game. I may find like some basketball games to hook to a 8.
Yo, facts, today,
that's
the move. That's the
just
move. We'll be a lot
of the day. Have it sitting there with the Bengals with 8. But I'm on Joe Burrow's rush yards.
St. Thomas basketball this Sunday afternoon, fucking yelling at the screen.
No, I have it built into today and tomorrow, bro. So you got it sitting there Sunday, in case we have to rebuild it.
I'll take the 6.5 with Kansas City if you want the 8, Billy. You want to do a stake on it? I'll take 6.5.
I feel like I have a stake bet floating in the air somewhere in the metaverse universe, so I will get back to you on that one.
All right. Well, I'm going to get on my props because I'm also on Burrow over 17.5 rush yards. Now, he's only hit this 2 of his last 8 games. That's trash. But those 2 games were versus Josh Allen's and Patrick Mahomes, meaning when he plays versus the other so-called top quarterbacks in the league, he pulls his fucking wang out and throws it on the table, guys. Averaging 37 rush yards a game. This may be a gamble, but it just makes too much sense to me. And then to throw on to you guys about the Jamar Chase, I put Jamar Chase to the moon, ... or is this T. Higgins? Or does Irwin show up and fuck me in the good old eye hole and score a hat trick, guys? I love the over 1.5 now that Billy brought it up. It's really going to be hard for me to pick who scores touchdowns on this team. So why not just pick the over 1.5 and call it a day there? I like it.
All the let me say this, all the secondary Bengals receivers besides Chase are at plus money. So if you're betting over 1.5 at chalk money, it'll even itself out if you're betting plus 300 on anytime touchdown props.
Yeah. And we all know Chase's versus number ones like Big Show showed up. His yards is at 84.5. Last time out, 7 for 97 versus this team. I don't expect nothing to stop, guys. So they do have a thing on Prize Picks with Juju and with Chase for 132.5 combined. And I can realistically see 100 plus yards from Chase, like Big Show was saying. So I will be looking at his 75 yards and a touchdown, 100 yards and a touchdown type specials that Bovada does offer me. Right now on Bovada, I can get Chase and Higgins combined receiving yards at $158 at minus 126. And last time versus the Chiefs, they only put up $133 combined. So didn't pull the trigger on it yet. And I don't know if I will.
Can I entice you for a weekend parlay?
Yeah, talk.
Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. Hayden Hurst, anytime touchdown. Devonta Smith, anytime touchdown. 24-1.
You know what, bro? Send that to me later on, bro. I'll put $10 on it, bro. I'll take $240. Why not?
Yeah, me too, man. 20. I think you could, if you don't like the last piece of the Hayden Hurst, you could switch that out for Tyler Boyd. You could switch out.
Are we done with the Noah Gray too? Are we done with the Noah Gray props?
We're reserving all Chiefs props besides MVS because I still think MVS has the ability to catch a 30-yard bomb and go over 27.5.
We're getting asked about Watson anytime touchdown too.
I'm not looking to run a bunch of backups personally. This is where the stars shine, is in the playoffs, guys. Tight ends and stars. You tell me which random fucks have scored touchdowns the last week and a half, and I'll tell you not many. I mean,
I'm with you. I think this is the one. If you're on the Chiefs side, the only two people I play on the Chiefs would be Kelsey and Travis, Kelsey and McKinnon, man. McKinnon scored 5 weeks in a row, dude, and he doesn't score last week. Why wouldn't you just hop back on the train?
Yeah, I'm looking for a team total rush yards for the Chiefs. Usually my book will offer that the day of. You ready for this shit, bro? Who leads the leagues with 8 games in a row with 100 plus rush yards combined in the playoffs? Oh, can you say the Chiefs?
They probably played the most
100 rush yards.
Hey, sneaky prop! If they give us Patrick Mahomes rushing yards, that's going to be really low, considering that his legs left up on him.
He's going to run. He will run it, but I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be low, so you're going to have a chance to take some props on it.
You got it's not worth the risk on me. I'm going to get to my last one before we say bye because it's almost that time. Travis Kelce, guys, like they were already saying, I'm going to get into some numbers. Take his fantasy score over 17.5 or his receiving yards over 76.5. We know this man's unstoppable. And if you look at his solo game versus the Bengals, he had 4 catches for 56 yards. Look a little deeper. He was only targeted 6 times. He hasn't been targeted less than 7 times in any other game during this season. And over the last 6 games, he's averaging 10 targets, 8.5 catches, and 78 yards. So pretty much we're getting his average on his yards and we're getting his average on his fantasy score. It's the fucking playoffs where since 2022, Travis Kelce's played 7 games where he averages 12 targets, 9.7 catches, and 108 yards a game while chipping in more than a touchdown a game. Whether you want his yards or fantasy or anytime touchdown, you have to get in on this motherfucking monster in the playoffs. Well, that's all, folks. Billy Briz, tell them where they can find you and what you have going on this weekend on Pub Sports Radio, and maybe a little freebie on a bet you were looking at tonight because you were jacked to talk PFL before this.
Yeah, Logan. Last one before we get out of here for NFL. Logan Wilson over 8.5 tackles and assists, linebacker for the Bengals. PFL tonight. Week 1 Challenger Series. We got the men's welterweight division. It should be a to be honest with you, this upcoming season for the Challenger Series might be talent-wise just on par or maybe above last year's Contender Series, maybe besides the Bonfim brothers, there's going to be some very interesting prospects this year. We get your Hate Masvidal's cousin, Charlie Deca, in a couple of weeks on the card. But as I digress a little bit, Yusef Whitner and Thad Jean, 2 money line parlay pieces that you can use for this weekend. You're probably going to have to odd shop for that one. Not a lot of books offer the Challenger Series, but the ones that do are getting fucking hammered tonight. First fight of the night, like the over 1.5. Second fight of the night, under 2.5. Co-main event, under 2.5. Thad Jean by knockout. And main event, Lucas Barbosa by submission. He is probably the most decorated jiu-jitsu practitioner ever to come over to the MMA streets. Hasn't fought MMA in about a decade, but man, some of his jiu-jitsu wins are some really good names like Gilbert Burns and shit like that. He's a minus 250 favorite and hasn't fought in MMA over a decade. The books are telling you what this is going to happen. You're going to go down there and get a submission off the first takedown.
All right. I'm about to play this back and make a parlay later on. Big Show, tell them where they can find you and what you got going on Pub Sports this weekend.
You can find me at Big Show Picks on Titter. I said the
On
same
Titter?
thing. I did it twice now. Titter,
Titter,
TikTok, and Instagram. I'll be joining Billy. I'll probably DJing on some fucking PFL tonight, but this weekend, Sharpie, you know it's this weekend.
Royal fucking Rumble, get some Rock plus 500, motherfuckers.
The Rock?
The Rock,
The Rock.
bro. He's winning the Royal Rumble.
It's either Rock or Stone Cold, I think.
Why are we betting on something, though, that's already predetermined? I mean,
Because it's predetermined, exactly, bro. The only way for The Rock to fight his family member at WrestleMania, like he's talked about for years, is to win the Royal Rumble, which happens to be in LA where The Rock lives.
Shout out for Mills for not paying attention to the show, trying to call me mid-show while I'm on fucking stream. Good job, Mills. Shout out to MMA Locker Room.
Smash that damn like button. I'm sure Mills is somewhere in the background listening to us as we speak. So I'm Sharpie's Bets. You can find me on Pub
he's
Sports
called about a thumbnail.
all fucking Sunday, starting with the Pub Hub and finishing with the Bengals Chiefs live stream. So have a blessed weekend and let's make some money. This show is sponsored by Prize Picks. So go to the App Store, search Prize Picks, and use promo code Pub Sports for your first deposit. They will match it up to 100, minimum of 25. Until next time, this is the Good, the Bad, and the Money Championship Sunday edition.
We be pubbing.
2 times.